What up, y'all? DCFAYGOGUY. Today we're going to be reviewing Hexx's brand new album, Tales of a Cursed G. This dropped last Friday. Honestly, I went into this album not really expecting too much. I wasn't overly excited. I wasn't not looking forward to it. I've said this before. I've said this in my Demon Season review that Hexx is my favorite act on Chapter 17. I actually may have said is the best, but that's very subjective. So I'm gonna say it correctly. He's my favorite. To me, he's not the trap style. He's West Coast wicked shit. It's way more up my alley than what Darby Trill puts out, way more than Ouija Mag puts out. If you was to ask me, I would say that both of Hexx's albums are better than any of Ouija Mag's. Again, subjective, but I'm also an old school juggalo. I don't really care for the trap sound. So when this album was coming out, I knew I was going to peep it out, but I wasn't really sure if I was going to buy it or not. As that time's gone on, I'm really considering getting the album. I see that it comes in a physical CD case now, not a slip case. And interestingly, it's not available on Chapter 17's website. It has the C17 logo on it. Ouija Mag has promoted the album on Twitter. But I've had a couple people reach out to me that like, hey, did you notice this isn't available on Chapter 17's website? And then, you know, the rumor mill kind of fired up and speculation started flowing. I don't know what's going on. I thought about reaching out to Hexx about it. I was like, no, that's not really something I want to reach out to him about. I reached out to him instead about the song Darko because I'd seen somewhere that he produced it. And I'm like, yo, I really like this sample in there during the chorus, but it is driving me crazy that I can't figure out where it's from. I reached out to him. He left me on red, so I'm not shit to him. So I don't know if we'll ever get that answer figured out. Maybe somebody who's higher status can do an interview with them and maybe get that information out of him. I don't know. I don't know if they care. Honestly, I don't really care. The fact that the CD is available, the CD is awesome. The fact that I could buy it from his website and that it comes in a physical CD case to me is way the fuck fresher than it being available on Chapter 17's website. So enough about all that. Let's jump into this. I do have notes here. I've been trying to take notes of songs as I go through, and especially with his notes about each song. I find that to be a very easy way to do reviews now. So I'm getting better about that. That way I can actually get a lot of my points across. I don't always like to go track by track, but sometimes I do, and this is going to be one where we're going to go track by track. So I've already said everything I said kind of in the intro, but so Tales of a Cursed G, the intro song, sets a great tone. The shit got me bobbing my head. It got me ready to hear some heat. That sample scratching of what sounds like Michael Jackson's Thriller was hella dope. Towards the end of the song, you hear like a ha 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 ha. It's like that maniacal laugh in the Thriller song from Michael Jackson. I don't know if anybody even knows that. I feel like everybody should know that. It's fucking Michael Jackson. Blade to the neck, the beat thumps in the whip, in the ear. It's a banging track. Now, I know in a previous video I had said something about not being able to properly listen to music in my car. I've actually since then done some tweaking on my settings. The speakers still rattle. I really need to get them checked out so I can properly listen to music. But I have found when I'm listening to rap music, if I turn the bass down, not quite all the way, but just enough that it doesn't thump so hard and that rattles, that I can actually enjoy the music that I'm listening to. And that is something I was able to do with Tales of a Cursed G. So I do have that kind of fixed, not totally. Another Day, obviously the lead single. This is the Shaggy that I want to hear, not what we got on Professor Shags. Give us more of this. That song, that beat, perfect. That's some old school fucking rap right there. That's some West Coast rap. Obviously, I'm not a hip hop head, but that beat, that to me is where Shaggy really shines, because I know that's something he's a huge fan of, you know? So hearing Shaggy in that element, absolutely loved it. To have Shaggy back, I guess, if you could say. I don't know, ICP's on this weird thing where they're wanting to try doing more trap, and I don't think it's working. I'm able to enjoy it for what it is, but honestly, since Ouija Mag's come into the picture, they're doing more trap style rapping, and I think for a lot of fans, it's just not clicking. So a lot of people did not care for Yum Yum, very trap style, you know, even with the fucking producer tags. you know, Fearless Fred Fury's where they really started to kind of dabble in that, and then it's just been kind of going. Bloody Sunday, Violent J was doing it. So I think it's just something they're wanting to dabble in. Maybe not even a trap style, but just rapping over trap beats. And maybe that's what's putting people off. I don't know. But hearing Shaggy in this element was like a very good breath of fresh air. It's like, this is the skills that I like to hear Shaggy do. This is the flows I like to hear Shaggy rap. You know what I mean? So absolutely loved Another Day. Darko. This is my favorite song on the album. The beat is so mesmerizing. I kind of talked about this already. I seen somewhere it was produced by Hexxx himself. Definitely want to hear what else he's made. This makes me want to hear Hexxx on some Charlie Beans beats for sure. If you have no idea who Charlie Beans is, he is a producer who has done work for multiple underground artists. Obviously, if you're a Chapter 17er, a Ouija Low, 17%er, huge fanatic ICP, and you're taking ICP side in the beef, you probably don't want him working with Charlie Beans. He's produced for Magic Ninja Entertainment. It's super fucking stale that I even just said all that. It's super fucking stale that because of the fact that he's worked with one person, that the fact that I even had to say that, and the fact that people already have it in their mind, like, oh, fuck him, because he's worked with them, is so fucking dumb. Like, it's just so dumb. But Charlie Beans, he's produced for Blaze. He's produced for Gibby Stites. He did one song for Kung Fu Vampire. Charlie Beans, to me, is he's a different kind of producer. The kind of beats that he puts out there, I think, are they ride a little bit more on like the synth side. And I don't know any of the technical terms. I'm pretending to know what the fuck I'm talking about right now. But one of the things that he does with his beats, to me, they always have like this kind of chill vibe to them. There's something about them that when they hit, like, I just pay attention. Maybe that's not for everybody. A good example of some Charlie Beans production is to go and listen to Blaze Your Dead Homies' Dead Vulture EP, entirely produced by him. That's the kind of beats I'm talking about. So to me, there's great production there that I feel like Hexxx would sound really good on. And I know Charlie Beans was on Twitter saying that he's actually a fan of Hexxx. So that link up is something I would love to see, assuming Ouija Mac will let it happen, because he has worked with Blaze Your Dead Homie. And he even did a song for Twisted on Mad Season. So that's probably never going to happen, but hopefully someday it will happen. That'll bring me to a point that I want to bring up towards the end. Hopefully I remember to do that, because it's not in my notes. It's actually something I thought about last night and the day before, but I never put it in my notes. So that brings us to Shimmy Shimmy Ya, a fun song to bump, nothing too serious. Black Crown. This beat is crazy. Now I'm confused because when you listen to this on streaming, it says Hexxx and DJ Chunk. But somewhere, I think on Instagram, I seen Devereaux say that he produced this beat. So I have no idea who fully produced it. All I know is I really fucking love it. And tell me if I'm wrong. If Devereaux's watching, if Hexxx is watching, if DJ Chunk's watching, or somebody who knows or gets to rub elbows with them, is that a Confusion sample that I hear? If you don't know what Confusion is, it's the scene at the beginning of the first Blade movie when they're in the, they're in the club and the fucking blood comes out of the sprinklers. The song that's playing during that scene, are they sampling that song? Because I fucking love it, man. I'm one of those people that, like, when you hear that song, you just kind of you just kind of dance along, and that's exactly what the fuck I did with this beat. So I really like Black Crown a lot. And Hexxx, man, this is what I like about Hexxx. He can flow. He flows over it. I've been seeing a lot of people say that they don't like Hexx's lyrics, that they feel like he's boring, but I guess maybe I'm not paying enough attention to his lyrics because I'm just too busy, like, riding the flow with him. You know what I mean? Like, for me, that's what I'm enjoying about Hexxx, the fact that he can rap over the beat, and he does it well. He does it with a flow. That's the shit that gets me. I'm not so much listening to the lyrics all the time. So, brings us to Brick, another banger, Dev on the beat. Of course, there's the tag at the beginning. That Murder Go Round sample on there, though, no wonder people say that this is their favorite. It's not my favorite song, but it's definitely dope, and that beat is a big factor. I noticed a lot of people were immediately quoting Brick. I have to say it's because of the sample of Murder Go Round in there. I think a lot of people really get nostalgic for old ICP. And Devereaux, likes to sample old ICP, and I think that's what makes people go like, yo, this is my favorite shit on this because of that. So, yeah, definitely a good song. Blueberry Red Bull, this song here was kind of okay. Nothing that made me want to skip, but nothing overly amazing. The Coast. I love this beat. I love this vibe. Triz on here kind of lost me. Some of his lyrics felt super weak as fuck, but it didn't ruin the song for me. I think Triz has been on another song by another artist I listened to, and I kind of had the same feeling like, You know, I know he's been getting a lot of praise, and I see when he's on someone's album, people are like, oh shit, Triz is on here. I don't have that reaction, but listening to him, it wasn't terrible. It was basically the part where he was talking about, oh fuck, I don't even remember the fucking line, but when he said it was just kind of like, I think it's something along the lines of going to go get paid, and you pretend that you're going to, but you're not, or something like that. There was a line on there that was just kind of like, I don't know how I feel about that line. It was kind of like, But yeah, I like Coast. Season of the Sick and No Rest. Yet another banging tracks, great beats, great flows from Hexxx. Nothing overly standoutish about those ones. And then Paradise is a great closer. It's a nice slowed down track, yet another great beat. Hexxx heals it, of course. So my standout tracks on here, they are Another Day, Darko, Black Crown, The Coast, and Paradise, with my favorite, of course, being Darko. Like I said about that, there's something on that beat for Darko that I just really like. And I find it becoming an earworm several times. There are a lot of times that even the beginning with the fucking like trumpets or, you know, the jazzy music, it'll randomly come in my head. And then as I'm walking, like I'll just hear the beat start in my head. And I immediately will like just start walking differently. Like I'm walking to this beat. It's definitely become an earworm for me. So much so, everybody knows, I mean, I'm rocking the new shirt. Cabal dropped. I got my shit on Monday, you know, then Hexx's album dropped Friday. And this album has done very well surviving that. I'm still, through some of my spins of the pit, going back and listening to Tales from a Cursed G. That is huge, because sometimes when music hits new that I really fucking love, like the pit, anything else being released, I ain't trying to fuck with. I'm all about this one project. But Tales from a Cursed G has been getting some repeats, and a very good chunk of it has been that earworm of Darko. And some of the other songs. There are other songs on there that are earworms. The Coast is another song that is in my top 5, and Paradise is in my top 5. So, final thoughts. I cannot express it enough. Hexxx is my favorite on C17. He's the one representing the OGs. This is OG music, my cup of tea. As you know, I've stated in Ouija Mac reviews and Darby O'Trail's review that it's just not quite my cup of tea. But this is my cup of tea. This is something that I will go back and I will sip the shit out of this tea because I love it. So the final note that I want to put out there, and I may upset people when I say this, it's not me trying to upset anybody. This is just genuinely how I feel. I feel like Hexxx does not belong on Chapter 17. For one, his style, his everything about him just doesn't seem to fit. Ouija Mac is trap style, Darby O'Trail is trap style. That seems to be where they're going. Hexxx to me just doesn't fit that mold. And another thing, when I listen to Hexxx, I'm thinking about all these other artists that I think he would sound great with. But the problem with him being on Chapter 17, he's in this smaller bubble. And what I mean by that, I'm not trying to say that Chapter 17 isn't big, that they're not rubbing elbows with big names. I'm just saying the kind of people I want to hear him with, like Straight Jacket, Young Wicked, Buckshot, Mr. Gray. There's so many different artists out there that I would love to hear him work with, but because of them working with the enemy, that'll never happen as long as he's with Ouija Mac. So I feel like he's in the wrong place because I feel like there's so much potential for him to make great music that's more in his lane, but it's just not going to happen on Chapter 17. Again, that may upset people. That's how I feel about it, and I will leave you off with this. There is actually a track, Hexxx featuring Young Wicked, that it was brought up to me by the homie Dead Guy Bash from Spread the Dead podcast about this song. I was watching their stream and they were talking about it, and I immediately reached out because I'm like, this motherfucker has some rarities. The homie Cali Green Too Fresh, he's like, an underground music artist encyclopedia. Like when Ouija Mac was first getting signed, he was one of the first people I say go, yeah, Swag Tooth is my shit. Swag Tooth. I said tooth. Tooth. Swag Tooth is my shit. He was one of the first ones to do that. So I reached out to him. I said, hey, there's this Hexxx song featuring Young Wicked. Do you have it? He's like, I do. So he sent it over to me. He sent me over the artwork. Apparently this song, there are powers at work trying to make sure this song is never heard. Now, if you are someone that doesn't fuck with the beef or the divide and you would love to hear this song because you love Hexxx, you love Young Wicked regardless of the fact that he slept with Samantha consensually with an adult. He did juggalo shit, slept with someone's daughter even though they said don't. That's some juggalo shit. If you're not fucking with any of that, right, and you want to hear this song, hit me up. Email me, DCFAYGOGUY@gmail.com, and I will let you get a copy of that song. It's the only way I'm going to get it out there for people to hear it that actually want to hear fucking music, regardless of, you know, underground politics. So, yeah, all in all, I really like Tales of a Cursed G. I got to say, I would never own it because I've never had the use for it, but the little Uzi water gun is pretty fucking sweet. When I first saw that like being promoted as a pre-order item, I was like, yo, that is dope. So for those who have it, I think it's really cool. I've seen some people like go out and like shoot it. It's kind of cool. But again, it would literally just be a dust collector. I know it's a lot of shit talking I'm doing for all the shit I have sitting on the shelf. But Tales of a Cursed G, I really like it. Again, it's my cup of tea. So I want more Hexxx. And I would love to hear Hexxx on some other underground artists' music. I'd love to hear him on other songs. I'd love to hear him with other artists that I like, regardless of who they're with or who they've worked with. But anyway, tell me down below what you guys thought about Tales of a Cursed G. If you have heard it, if you haven't heard it, go give it a listen. Come back, tell me what you guys thought. I thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.